What's going on, beautiful people? I am Wesley from A Connection TV here on YouTube, the one place on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing me, definitely subscribe so you can see some more of me. Follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at A Connection TV. Also, you can follow me on my movie channel on YouTube, Wes the Critic. Same thing for Instagram and Twitter. I'm a bit annoyed, frustrated, aggravated because, you know, I understand that there's this like new age kind of not so much like storytelling happening now where they allow their audience, whoever they may be, to sit through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of programming to only be left with an unresolved result. And I do not like that kind of storytelling. I'm annoyed with it. I'm frustrated with it. And maybe I'm the only one left on the planet Earth that cares. But because of social media and because of like everyone like really championing this show, like this phenomenon, unlike Wednesday, where Wednesday was perfect. Wednesday was traditional storytelling. Wednesday was a complete season with you leaving watching it feeling like there was a resolve. There was an end result. There was a conclusion. And then yes, there's rumblings of something coming up in season 2, but you felt fulfilled. But then you have shows like The White Lotus. Or movies like Smile, where they get you, they wrap you up, they present you well, and then they leave you empty with nothing inside because of the freaking ending. And honestly, it makes me feel like the writer just gave up and was like, oh, this will be cute, let's leave it at that. And then that's it. And frankly, that's what I gathered from the little ending video. Oh, season 2, what about season 3? Like the guy answering questions. Like what? First of all, okay, you read the title of the video. I'm talking about The White Lotus. I'm not really gonna like review it because you might wanna see it, maybe not. Is it spoilery? Kind of, yeah. Season 1 was trash. I don't know why people fell in love with, I don't know. Season 1 was trash. It was not my cup of tea, coffee, juice, Kool-Aid, milk, vodka, cranberry juice. It was not for me. Okay? It felt boring. It felt like why am I watching this? The characters were dry. The story was dry. There was no one I could connect to. No one whatsoever. And I was like, what is this? Like, this makes no sense. Why am I watching this? But I'm only watching it to try to branch out, to try to creatively be different. Step outside of the box. See what is going on with The White Lotus that has everybody so riveted about it. Like, oh my God, this show. I could not understand it in season 1. I could not. The only thing I grabbed from season 1 was that it was a show about nothing, but the location was a hotel called The White Lotus. And I'm like, okay, obviously that tickles people's fancies. A show about nothing. Seinfeld was a show about nothing. Okay, great. Let's make it a hotel chain and let's see how it goes. It goes well because people love it, and we got a season 2. So I start watching season 2, and it takes me, I think, until episode 4 or 3 to like really care. It was the episode where Harper, Cameron, Daphne, and Ethan got split up. That episode, their storyline, I connected to. Okay. I connected to their storyline. And when they split up and, you know, the wives went this way and the husband stayed at the hotel, that's when things got interesting to me. That's when I connected to the story. That's when it seemed to be about something, even though this show is literally about nothing. And so I was captivated by their storyline. Didn't really care about the hookers, didn't really care about the father, son, grandfather. Dan for sure didn't care about Portia. The two things that made me sit through 7 episodes of season 2 of The White Lotus was Ethan, Harper, Cameron, Daphne, and Tanya. And even Tanya was in season 1 and she got on my nerves. But season 2, she was actually hilarious. She made me laugh. And so I was married to these 2 storylines. It was interesting seeing the dynamic of the 2 relationships. Let's start with Cameron and Daphne. Daphne is a stay-at-home wife. The husband makes a lot of money. They have kids together. Daphne takes care of the kids. The husband works a lot. Daphne has her trainer that helps her make her feel special in this marriage that clearly isn't working, but they're forcing themselves to be together because they have kids, and it's just, hey, what else are we gonna do? You know, Cameron's that husband that's like, one life to live, I wanna have fun, happy wife, happy life type of situation. And they just deal with each other. And that's what a lot of relationships are like that. They just deal with each other. Yes, yeah. But then you have Ethan and you have Harper, who at the same time are dealing with each other. They understand each other's hiccups. And because they are married, they're, again, dealing with each other in each other's hiccups. And it is what it is. But the difference between the 2 relationships is that, one, Ethan and Harper are honest with each other, more open with each other, trust each other, understand each other's language, and, you know, they challenge each other. Where Cameron and Daphne are just like floating. And it's like, okay, we're still in love and we're still married and let's do this. It's very interesting, very interesting. Of course, I was married to Cameron and Ethan. You know, when they got drunk and Cameron started, you know, flirting with Ethan, kissing him and stuff. I'm like, where's this going? Like, what's happening here? Am I getting a LGBTQ storyline in this? Am I going to be able to connect to this? Am I going to be interested in this? And I was. And honestly, to hear Cameron, you know, really push himself onto Ethan and Ethan just slightly turned him down because he was drunk and they were like partying and the camaraderie and the naturalness of the acting between those, it was just great. It was real life. I've been there, done that. I've seen that, been there, done that. You know, especially in the relationship dynamic. The things I could tell you. You know, we have so many people out here speaking about their lives, but they're not telling you the full story. Some things I could tell you about some of these people out here in Atlanta. Just people, period, in the industry and the things that they do and how they act. That is the White Lotus season 2. I've been there. I've been in the scenario of Harper, Cameron, Ethan, and Daphne. I've been there. So I could connect to that. And so I was like, okay, I like this. This is great, you know? I couldn't connect with the other stories. I didn't really care for the other stories. I really didn't. You know, privileged people having problems, that I will never connect to that. There's nothing to connect to that for me. But for whatever reason, Jennifer Coolidge, aka Tanya, I finally know her freaking name now. You know, Jennifer acts the same in everything that she's in. I'm like, how is she getting jobs? I don't understand. But for whatever reason, this character, Tanya, aka Jennifer Coolidge, worked. She was the comedy relief here. She was supposed to be comedy relief in season 1, but I didn't laugh once. I'm lying. I laughed like a chuckle once. But season 2, she had me dying. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my video. I am dying at what she is doing and how she's responding to Portia, her assistant. Portia was trash. Portia was trash. The only characters that I like truly adore and like rooted for, well, 3. There's 3 now because in the beginning, it was Ethan and Albie in the very beginning. Even though I didn't care for his storyline and him fawning over Portia and Portia wanting the bad guy and then him fawning over a hooker and then paying her the money and like what, I didn't care about that. But Albie was just a good, I'm married to good people. Ethan was a good person. Albie was a good person. And Tanya was a good person. She was just weird as F. And so, you know, I'm watching this because I'm curious about what's going to happen. I really am. I'm like, what's going to happen with this couple situation? And what's going to happen with Tanya? Like, is she getting over Greg? Is she over Greg? Is Greg over her? Clearly Greg's planning something, plotting something. And you know, Tanya has over $500 million and she's like trying to live her life and trying to like have a good time, you know? And I was feeling for her because even though she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, it's like she's clearly lonely. She clearly wants love and she finds this guy and she helps this guy out, but the guy's playing her. And I feel bad for her. But I want her, like, I'm watching the rest of this series, right? The rest of the season, like, I want her to live her life and have a great time. She finds this group of gay dudes, and they're showing her the laps of luxury. At least that's what's going on in my mind. And then things get dark, things get twisted. You know, we go from Ethan doing the right thing and not doing anything with the hookers when he was hanging out with Cameron and the wives were gone, to the wife coming back, finding a condom, and then blaming Ethan, not believing Ethan, and then the wife goes ahead and does something with Cameron just to square it off even. And it's interesting because when Ethan wanted Harper to believe him, Harper had a hard time believing him. But then I guess she settled for it. But not really, because she ended up doing what she did with Cameron just to piss Ethan off. But when Harper was trying to explain to Ethan, Ethan did not believe a word she was saying. And you know, I've learned a lot about like relationships. Like when you get to a point when you don't trust someone and you don't believe them anymore, just leave the situation alone. Like just leave it alone. Or if you're the type of person that can't be monogamous in a relationship where it's built on monogamy, don't get into it. If you know that you're that life is short type of person and you want to do this and do that, or do her and do him, don't get into a relationship with someone that believes in monogamy, because it's just like, why are we doing this to ourselves, you know? And I'm rambling because I really liked season 2, but I'm pissed off with the ending. And then the guy at the end of the show is like trying to explain why he was lazy and didn't complete the season, why he had me watch seven episodes of like an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minute episodes, only to get to an ending that had no resolve, no end result. It was like, oh, maybe they did this, but we don't know. Oh, maybe they did this, but we don't know. Who likes leaving a show or a movie like that? Why do y'all like leaving a show or a movie not knowing what the freak happened? Or, as a cliffhanger, cool, but this is an anthology series, so we're not gonna see these characters again, or are we? Like, you know, and so I'm sitting there and I'm laughing because Tanya is making me feel good in this very dry ass, mundane ass show. And so I'm rooting for her. I'm like, girl, you know what's about to happen. You're gonna get free. You're gonna get free. You got this, girl. You see the bag, grab the bag, knuck a few bucks, let's go. And she's doing it. She's doing it. Half-handedly, because she's not a pro at this, but she's surviving. And I'm like, yes, girl, yes, let's go. And then we get to the end where there's no victory. And there's no victory because the guy at the end who chuckled felt that it would be nice to send her off like that. What are we talking about? That made no sense. And you know, fine. A lot of people could be like, Wes, don't trip. It's story. It's not real. It was entertainment. Okay. But my thing is, entertainment is not complete if it leaves you feeling incomplete at the freaking end of it. I'm invested. And so I'm watching this freak crap. And then we get to the end and it's like a big F you. At the end, it's a big F you. You sat here through 7 episodes, it's F you, Wes. We don't care about how you feel about Tanya. We made her a hero up until the very end, and then we took her out of here because we wanted to make you feel some sort of way. What type of crap is that? If you're a person that loves to sit through hours and hours of programming only to get to the end and be left with nothing, then you will love this show. But I'm extremely disappointed because they based the season finale really off of Tanya, only to then leave us with what the F? And to be honest, I really felt like if she was going to be a carry-on character between the anthology series, why not let her carry off into season 3? You're going to tell me you're going to bring in Greg into season 3? Why? What are we talking about here? It made no sense. No sense whatsoever. And, you know, I'll just, because I can rant on about this all day. Okay? I'll sum it off with the character analysis of each. Okay? So I can go down through it. Jennifer Coolidge, she's Jennifer Coolidge in every project that she's in. She's won awards. I can respect her. She's in the industry. Great. Here in season 2, it worked. Jennifer Coolidge playing Jennifer Coolidge worked in season 2. I'm just mad how they played her at the end, right? John Grimes as Greg Hunt, who cares? I don't. No one cares. I don't care about his character. I don't care about his development. Sabrina, whatever her last name is, as Valentina, this whole her being lesbian and then using her job to like potentially get close to one of her employees. I was just like, didn't we see this already in season 1? Like, all gay people are not like this. Like, y'all could have highlighted a different gay person in a different, like, why? She's the same as the old manager in season 1. Using his being gay, using his power to play around with his associates. Trash storytelling. You could have told a different story. I didn't like that. And she got on my nerves with that mole on her lip. I was over it. I was over her character. Piss poor, you could have wrote something else. Portia, who cares? I didn't care about Portia. She was the typical girl who loved the bad boy, found herself in a bad situation. She got out of it, great. But like, she was dumb the whole show. I was over her. Harper, She had an amazing guy in Ethan and just didn't realize it. And still to this day doesn't realize it. But Ethan's like putting up with her. Ethan is Will Sharp, he needs to be in something else. Will Sharp, phenomenal. Ethan, I love him to death. He was amazing. Favorite character by far. Theo James is Cameron Sullivan. I liked character Cameron. I liked Theo. I like what he did with it. Fantastic acting. I liked him. I love Daphne. Daphne was so hurt, so crushed. You could tell in her acting. When Ethan told her what happened, oh, she was crushed. But she brushed it off. She's like, hey, hey, you just gotta laugh it off. I felt bad for her. Dominic DeGrasso, didn't really care about the grandfather, Bert DeGrasso, didn't really care. I liked Albie DeGrasso. I liked him, but he was naive. Mia, couldn't really care about Beatrice. Quentin, couldn't really care. Leo Woodall, baby got cakes on him. He played Jack. I liked his acting. He was great. He did what he needed to do. Didn't really care for the other hooker. But, like, okay, that's it. Bring Will Sharp back. Phenomenal. Loved him. I'll even see Albie back. But they should not have the ending should not have ended the way that it ended. It really shouldn't. I was laughing hysterically when she was on that yacht. And then we got to the ending and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I'm like, what? Anyways, what would I rate The White Lotus? Season 1's trash. Season 1, you don't even need to see season 1 to see season 2. Season 1 is like a 3. I'm sorry. Season 1 is like a 2. Season 2 is like a 7.5. Like, I only cared about 2 storylines, and there were like 7 storylines. So, but the storytelling overall was great. Like, the actors did their job, the cinematography, all that, great. But I only cared about 2 storylines. Like, all the other, like, that Valentina storyline was trash. It was so unimaginative. Trash. And they did that season 1. Like, I hate seeing stereotypes of my people, whether it be black people or whether it be gay people. And you already, anyways, I could go on and on about this show. Do I feel it was a waste of my time? I feel like I'm going to be able to look at my storytelling differently having watched this show. So I think I accomplished that, but I could have watched something else to accomplish that. Season 2, I felt like I feel like the show was a waste of time because I'm not happy with the ending. I'm not. That's it. Anyways, if you loved White Lotus, please let me know why you loved it. I didn't love it. It was okay. It was a 7.5. Season 2 is a 7.5. Season 1 is a 2. Period. Let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments below, because at this point, you had to have seen White Lotus. And if you haven't, then you're like me. But you don't need to watch season 1. You do not. If you've never seen White Lotus and you're going to watch it because you're curious about my aggravated review, it's a good show. It's a 7.5 show. But you can start with season 2. You do not need season 1 was trash. Okay.